What's up, everybody? Super Fan here from Mustang Weekly Update number 53 on this Friday. So I actually am filming this on a Friday here because, of course, Thursday was Thanksgiving and I spent the day with my family. I hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving as well. And, of course, I have a lot to be thankful for. But in particular, in regards to this channel, I'm very thankful for all of you guys and your support of the channel. And it's been a great year. And all I can do is really be thankful for the growth of the channel and everything, all the great feedback and opportunities, and it's been great. So anyway, this week, I'll first explain. I'm going to a meeting, that's why I'm a little more dressed up than I usually am, but this week has been interesting in not such a great way. Obviously, Thanksgiving was great, and today will hopefully be a good day. But the earlier part of this week was really stressful, and the reason why is because I was just going to merge onto the highway earlier this week, and I was only in 4th gear, because remember, I learned my lesson about going full throttle in 6th gear. So I didn't even go full throttle. I just went maybe 75% throttle in 4th gear, merging onto the highway, and I got the rattling noise under the hood again and the black smoke out of the back again. I was like, what the heck? So, it was just driving me nuts. I'm like, okay, I swapped the spark plugs. That's fine. That's good. Everything in the car should be good. The car was running fine with all the current mods for a week or two. So it's not like I changed something immediately and then right after that, oh, well, this happened, so it's got to be because of this mod or something. So I was really just scratching my head as to what this could actually be and what's going on with this car that's making it. It's basically anytime I demand more than maybe 5 pounds of boost, the car just instantly freaks out, and it's like it does not want to give me the boost, and it goes rich. And so I went through a few different diagnostic things. The first thing is, some people were saying it's probably the tune, being an off-the-shelf Cobb tune. Now, Cobb tunes have always been really good for all the other cars that I've seen in the past and have treated the owners very well. So I didn't think it was the tune, but just to be sure, I actually swapped to another tune temporarily, and it did the same thing. I got the black smoke a third time under a different tune. So it's not the tune that's causing it. And then I thought maybe I have a bad turbo or something, because there have been a few of these turbos that have just committed suicide very early on. So I actually popped off my intake inlet hose and inspected the compressor wheel of my turbo. It's totally fine, because what it feels like whenever I'm doing this, it's not that the car is really pinging. I've decided it's not that something's going wrong. The car is going rich, and it feels like it's getting choked up. I think it's going rich because it's not getting enough air, and something is going wrong in between either the intake or the turbo. By the time it gets to the engine's freaking out because it doesn't have enough air, and it's going super rich, and that's obviously causing issues. And it's only whenever I'm going, fairly, I'd say moderate into the boost, and then it does this issue. So it's really strange. I think I may have figured out what it is, but I don't want to say for certain, so I'm not going to say, because I don't want to place any blame anywhere or anything like that. But I've been swapping stuff around. I've been talking with the help of some other people about what this could be, and I think I've got it figured out. I'm not sure why it would have fixed the issue. We're just kind of spitballing here, and it just so happens that this is currently fixing the issue. I've been driving like a grandma. It kind of sucks, because this car is only fun really whenever you're going to get into the boost, and I've basically been staying out of boost this entire week just because I'm paranoid. But I went a little bit into it yesterday whenever I changed some things, and it seemed to be acting a little bit better, but I have places to go and things to do. I'm still daily driving this car, so I can't just keep pushing it and, oh, okay, well, it doesn't work now, and I'm broken down on the side of the road. Because again, this is my only car, and this is one of my hesitations with doing extensive modifications. Not that my mods are even heavy at all, but doing mods, it just makes a car a little sketchier. And maybe it's just because this is a new motor, and so there's a lot of unknowns. I'm not sure, but anyway, definitely stay tuned for next week's weekly update. I will probably give much more information then. It's been kind of hard with communicating with people this week as well because of the holiday week. So I'm hoping to have more information, have a better idea of exactly what is causing this issue by next week. I mean, the car drives perfectly 100% normal when I'm not in boost, and I've just been driving like a grandma, and the car is driving perfectly fine, everything is good. So it's not like it's unreliable, it's just it won't give me, boost, and it's It's strange, but like I said, the turbo checks out. That seems to be okay, at least as far as the compressor wheel is concerned. Maybe there's an oil issue or something. I'm not sure, but I will definitely keep you guys posted on that. But because of that, I'm not going to do an acceleration this week, just to be on the safe side. So I will just head back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news. Now, there's not as much to talk about this week, thankfully, because of the LA Auto Show last week and the holiday week here in America this week. So just a few stories here, but the first one is that the Infiniti Q60 Coupe was spied totally uncovered here, the new 2017 version, and looks striking, looks very close to the concept that we saw at the Detroit Auto Show earlier this year, and looks really, really good. And so they caught it out with, they were doing some promotional pictures for it. We don't have any pictures of the interior yet. We'll see those probably at the Detroit Auto Show this upcoming January, but it looks really good, especially in this red color, and should be a really great competitor to the Lexus RC and, you know, the BMW and the Audi and the, you know, things like that, Mercedes, you know, new coupe coming out. So, you know, the base engine for this is actually going to probably be the same motor that's in some of the base Infinitis that is actually from Mercedes, and so could be the same motor, kind of like from the CLA. But the big thing is the top motor in this car is, the rumor is still that it's a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 engine with 400 horsepower, which would really make that impressive if that's the case. Hopefully that is the case, because that's very awesome to see. Another car that was caught out completely uncovered was the new Genesis G90, which is Hyundai's new luxury brand, now just called Genesis, and then the G90 is the replacement for the Equus. So that's what they're going to be calling it. Remember, the Genesis sedan is now going to be the G80. They're going to have a G70, which is smaller underneath that, and then they're also going to have a sport coupe and an SUV. But this is the top of the line Genesis G90 here that was spied, and we don't know much more about it yet, but again, that's something we'll probably see at Detroit. In some other related news, Kia introduced the new 3.8-liter V6 base model in the Kia K900, which is the Kia version of the Hyundai Equus, and so that is interesting. Obviously, it's the same motor that's in the you know, base Genesis sedan as well, and so, you know, it used to be that the K900 only came with a V8 engine, so now you can get it with the V6, which should give it some better fuel economy figures, although a whole lot less power. But they said it still comes very well equipped, so it's not much of a downgrade aside from the lesser power plant. Other Kia large luxury car news is that they unveiled what the 2017 Cadenza is going to look like. Now, the Cadenza is the Hyundai Genesis in Kia form, and so this is what it looks like here for the new version that's going to be coming out, and looks pretty striking. Has some Lexus hints in it there a little bit. The grille is a little reminiscent of a Maserati, but overall looks pretty good. So we don't know much more about it other than these two pictures that we have here, but cool to see that nonetheless. And for some cars that were spied camouflaged this past week, the first is the new McLaren 570S GT, or that's what we're thinking it's going to be, is spied here, and looks interesting now. The roofline is modified, and they camouflaged the rear little windows there, and they think that this may be because it's going to be a 2+2, because they always said that the McLaren 570S they want to have it compete with the 911 and the 911 Turbo. So, you know, obviously the 911, even though it's a very small back seat, does have a 2+2 configuration. So they're thinking this could have small rear seats and, you know, give it that 2+2 configuration, and still keep the car basically the same as the other 570Ss in the line. We know that a convertible is going to be coming for 2017. This could be coming in the meantime. In between the regular 570S and the convertible, have this GT, which is cool to see that. And other stuff that was changed is that we saw two new test mules for Jeep running around. First is they have a facelifted version of the Grand Cherokee that'll be coming out here actually next year as a 2017 model. And as we can see, it's largely unchanged, but it looks like the grille is going to have some wider slats in it and a revised front bumper, and I'm sure there's going to be some improvements to the engine and interior as well. But cool to see that. And then the really radical thing that I was not expecting actually is Jeep is out testing a new compact crossover. So they want something that bridges the gap between the Jeep Renegade and the regular Cherokee, which I guess there's a little bit of a space there, but not a whole lot of room. But anyway, this is actually going to be based off the same platform as the Renegade and the Fiat 500X, but then they said that it's just going to be a little bit larger, and so they don't know if this will actually be the replacement for the Compass and the Patriot. It may take on one of those two names or a totally new name of its own, and they also said because of Jeep, you know, having this car that they'll be coming out with here in a year or two, that Fiat could get a version of it as well, since it's all based on the same platform, and kind of introduce something like the Fiat 500 XL, which would make sense, I suppose. And so interesting to see that. I mean, I think they're just throwing as many of these little compact crossovers out there as possible to fit every single little niche they can find, because they're all the rage right now, and can't blame them for that one bit. Other SUV news is Tesla has officially priced the Model X. Now, we originally heard it was like $130,000, but that was for the top-of-the-line early launch edition version. The regular ones started around $80,000, and that's before incentives. You know, there's a federal credit that's like $7,500, and some other things that'll give you some discounts. But as far as the options go on it, it's basically the same powertrain options as the Model S. And, it's got about the same pricing for all those same options as well. So, not much more expensive than a regular Model S, which is great to see, and gives you that additional functionality. One of the interesting things, though, is if you want the third row of seating, and they have different configurations. So the standard configuration is a 5-seater. You can get a 6-seater for $3,000 extra, or if you want a 7-seater, then it's $4,000 extra. So you get an extra seat for an extra $1,000. So I don't know how that all plays out, but that's how they're pricing it. So interesting to see that, and I think they said the P90Ds will be delivered first in the beginning part of 2016, and then the rest of them, the lesser models, will follow later on in 2016. So cool to see that. Alpina, the BMW tuner, they just introduced this week the B5 Bi-Turbo, which is an M5 that they've modified, and they give it 600 horsepower officially now and 590 pound-feet of torque, in addition to the body kit and the usual wheels they do and interior upgrades. Now, the standard M5, it's severely underrated. It probably has more power than BMW says. Some people said it even has 600 horsepower already, if not more. So who knows if this is underrated or if they're just acknowledging how much power the BMW actually makes. But of course, they've said they've improved and made it a little more impressive as far as the power goes and whatnot. So Alpina does some pretty good stuff. So I'm sure that's not just a quick little badge job, but very cool to see that they've introduced that. Other BMW news, BMW revealed the Concept compact sedan in China recently here, and could preview what a new 2 Series sedan or like a 1 Series sedan would look like. I think BMW wants something to compete with the Mercedes CLA and the Audi A3. So this is what they're showing. Looks honestly like a shrunken down 7 Series in my opinion. Looks really good though, and hopefully those good looks transfer over to the production car and also to a car in America here, because this is made primarily for the Chinese market as a larger back seat, since that's something they really value there. But this could very easily come in a slightly modified form to America as well, and I'm sure we probably will see something from BMW in that realm eventually, so they can compete. Some interesting rumors this week. The first is that Fiat, there's a rumor that their 124 Spider that was just revealed last week that I am in love with. You can go watch last week's weekly update if you want to hear all my gushing about that car. But anyway, there's a rumor here that they're going to be rallying it in the WRC Championship for 2017, because there's going to be a new sports car class and they want to enter this. But they're not going to enter the standard version, of course. We know there's an Abarth version coming. And so it would be the Abarth version. This would be a special rally edition of the Abarth version. I don't know if they would actually make the rally version as a production vehicle as well, but there was some rumors that this is an article by Piston Heads, by the way, that got this information. And what they're saying is the Abarth version that's being developed, it's going to use the same motor as the standard car, which is the Fiat 500 Abarth motor, and they're going to bring that over, and they have the 160 horsepower version and the standard 124 here, but they also said there's going to be a 190 horsepower version and a version with over 200 horsepower for a special rally inspired version. So I mean, this is all just rumors, still nothing to bank on, but if that's the case, then what we're hearing kind of is that the Abarth version will be 190 horsepower, which is less. We were hoping they would use the Alpha 4C engine, which has 240 horsepower. That's a 1.7 liter turbo engine, which would have been a whole lot more exciting. 190 horsepower still in a Miata. It's going to be fun for sure, and over 200 horsepower for this rally-inspired version, if they end up making it as a production car, would be very sweet as well, and that could give us that Alpha 4C motor possibly that we were looking for. But either way, even if it's just tuned versions of that same, Abarth motor, that's great, and either way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an awesome car, even with 160 horsepower and the large, 184 pound-feet of torque that this has over the Miata. Should make it a really fun car regardless, but excited to see those hotter versions. And some not so great news. So the last two rumor reports this week. The first is that the
Australian publication Motoring was able to talk with the Australian division of Nissan about the next GTR, and they said that the Nissan just unveiled the Nissan Concept 2020 Vision Gran Turismo for the Gran Turismo video game, of course. Well, they said that car is going to give us some hints as to what the next GTR will look like, but they said that it could also give us a hint as to when the next GTR is coming out, because saying 2020, they said, there was speculation that the new car could come in 2018, but according to this person at Nissan, they said definitely not 2018, probably not even 2019. They said 2020 is most likely when the new GTR come out, which means we still have 5 years of this current generation, which means this car, if it doesn't get replaced till 2020, will have been around longer than a lot of the other cars out there. It's kind of, in the DB9, Bentley Continental kind of thing. Those cars have been around for 10 years. Even Lamborghini refreshes their cars faster than this. So very interesting to see that. Again, this is just rumors and reports, so who knows. But they said there's still plenty of potential in the current GTR, so maybe we'll see a hybrid addition added on to make this a little more faster. But interesting to hear that. Hopefully we don't have to wait that long, but that may very well be the case. And the last rumor this week is Bentley, in a recent, dinner that they were having to introduce the Bentayga, they were talking about the future direction of Bentley and which way they would go. And because the Bentayga SUV has been so well received already, they're kind of in a dilemma here, because part of the company wants to make a more aggressive SUV that'll be a little bit smaller and more performance-oriented to maybe compete with stuff like the new Lamborghini SUV coming out and whatnot. So that is something they're thinking about, doing another SUV. Now, the other way they could go is, of course, we saw the EXP 10 Speed 6 concept back at the Geneva Motor Show, and so we're hearing that they may do a version of that, because apparently everyone is just telling them, please build this. Like, everyone that's a Bentley customer wants one of these, and so Bentley's really strongly considering this as well, but again, it's probably not going to sell as many as an SUV, even if they did another SUV. So they're not sure what they want to do, but they said if they did do this, sportier Bentley sports car concept here, that they would probably have an electric powertrain as an option, so they would actually use the same cool mechanicals that have been developed for the Porsche Mission E, which was the very slick concept we saw at Frankfurt from Porsche. And so it could have those mechanicals. They said they would also give a gasoline option, engine option, because many Bentley guys are traditional old school people and want a gasoline engine, which is totally understandable. And so they said they would do both if they were to build this car. Now, this is still something they probably won't even decide for another year or two. But if this car finally comes, it could come with an electric version as well. Anyway, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Take care.